many new opportunities. Yeah, as you said, we now have the digital channels, we have the audio channels. And also, it's very easy to self-publish now, which also helps traditional publishing to discover new talents. So accessibility of new content and the distribution of content is a lot easier. And we're seeing a lot of young people being interested in all kinds of storytelling. So it's the best of all times in publishing. No, I don't believe there are fewer book readers. Actually, I believe there are more. But it's a definition of the book which you have to question. When you read on a smartphone, then it's like reading a book. So if you tell a story, it doesn't matter in which media you're using. It can be an audio book, it can be streaming, yeah, it can be a printed book, it can be a digital book, it can be on a Kindle. So there are many ways of reading. But what you said before, yes, there's only a certain amount of time. There's only 24 hours. And there are so many different media. So there's the competition lies in this field. But actually I do believe that every kind of reading does serve its own purposes. So if you want fast information, you read digital. If you want to contemplate, if you want to get into a text, then you read on paper. It is still there, and every media is complementary. Yeah, so actually reading digital does also promote printed reading. Yeah, and the other way around, because you want to have more information. Not at all. You look around you and you see all these kids now coming in. So there's an interest, yeah? It's incredible. But it's also a question of demographics. If you look into very young countries, if you look into Indonesia, like with a huge growth rate, 250 million people, and with the rise of the middle class in China, you suddenly have people who are interested in education and they're buying children books. And so actually we see growth in publishing globally. No, actually it didn't happen. 10 years ago, everybody thought this is going to happen. That was one scenario. And then we've seen the market share of digital books go up to about 30%. And the past 3 years, it has been going down again. So actually, it's reversing now. People are sort of going back to the printed book. Yeah? And if you're reading a bestseller and you only really want to read it once, and digital is fine. But if you want more detailed information, or if you really love a book, then you're going to read it in print. And print has so many advantages. You don't need a battery, you need, it's a lot of many advantages. Yeah, and actually sometimes people become luxury products. When you look over there where we have an exhibition of the most beautiful books in Germany, or these books on Bauhaus, they are like pieces of art. And some of these books, you can treat them as a very expensive Hermes handbag, yeah, to show your lifestyle. When you have these books which are worth $2,000 or something like this. Oh no, there's a lot of stories which are actually written already for digital content. And which is quite interesting because you can change this content immediately. So I think it's a different way you write for an electronic platform. It's a different way when you are a journalist. If you write an article for a printed newspaper, it's very different from if you blog. So every media needs a different format and a different way to write. Do you need book fairs? Yes, you will always need book fairs because you want to make the authors visible, the book people, the publishers, the translators, and they have to talk to each other. And then they can produce an electronic book or a printed book. So a book fair doesn't need printed books. It needs the people behind the books. There are always two components to a book fair. One is the literary festival aspect. Yeah? You want to be attractive to the readers, to the young people. You want to attract a lot of young people. So you have to become more and more like an event, like a big party. You want to have the authors, but you also want to have maybe musicians. You want to have film people. So you need to be very attractive as a book fair for the general audience. And on the other hand, a book fair has a business-to-business aspect. So there's rights deals, there's distribution deals, there's translation deals. And as you see here, we brought a lot of German publishers, and it's early in the morning, and they're talking to their Taiwanese counterparts about licensed business. And this also needs to be professionalized, and this needs to be even more digitized. Because we're all telling stories. Music tells stories, film does tell stories. And actually, if you look into the films, most of them are based on a published book. Yeah, so it seems to be obvious that it can go this way, but it can also go the other way. You can develop books from movie content. Yeah, and especially if you look into mangas, they always have been very close, yeah, to moving images. Yeah, and we can use this for all sorts of literature. We have to actually use this for cross-marketing, but also to promote cross-content. We can use video blogs to promote books. Yeah, a huge blogging community does actually help selling books. So we have to use all medias. Yeah, yeah, this does help. And also for the promotion of books, the digital media, social media are so important. Instagram and Facebook and blogs, they really do help because people tend to follow these personal recommendations a lot more than they would follow if they read a review in a newspaper. It's all about personal recommendation. There's something new every year you can talk about. I think right now, and we are hosting a conference here in Taipei now about audiobook streaming. That's the latest innovation. Everybody is spending so much money into audiobook streaming. Now in Europe, this is a very attractive proposition, yeah, and people, all the traditional publishing houses also invest into audiobook streaming. Yeah, we've been talking about things like artificial intelligence and virtual reality and augmented reality now for years. And actually, by now it hasn't taken off. No, artificial intelligence can help you in some sort of selection process. I think it can help you in the field of science, technical, and medical. But in the field of literature, it doesn't help at all. So I see it as useful tools, yeah, but it's no replacement of literature. It's happening, but again, we have these new trends every year, and we've been talking about that like now for 3 to 5 years, and nothing really happened. There's no breakthrough right now. And as I said before, there might be purposes for translations, by example. But as you see, even literary translations, artificial intelligence is really struggling. It's not working, because literature does have so many levels that it's way too complex for artificial intelligence. Yeah, first of all, we have to reach out to the very young people, even before school. They have to see their parents read. We have to be good examples on the one hand. And on the other hand, I'm seeing the interest coming from itself. And sometimes it comes from digital media, it comes from the smartphone content. You see, we shouldn't worry too much that the kids don't start reading. As long as you see something like this, look around, all the kids here.
Yeah.
We worry too much.
You are very hopeful.
I'm not hopeful. I'm convinced. I see it all over the world. Yeah.